What's up, guys? Welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. K. Ray Knight, here to give you proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters. So y'all remember when I did plastic and plastic death and dolls? So the creator of that actually had like several other books that are similar in art style, as well as violence and blood. And I started reading one of them. It is called Plush. Oh my God. When I tell you that this whole entire series is maddening, right? Okay, so we start with a guy, his name is David, and he is talking to his friend Levi. Pretty sure his friend's name is Levi. And he has an engagement ring in his hand, and he's very upset because he was engaged to a woman named Whitney, and Whitney is pregnant with someone else's baby and is like super excited for said baby, as if it's her fiance's baby, but it's not her fiance's baby. What? So he's sitting there and he's actually kind of second guessing and thinking that he's overreacting. Sir, your fiance cheated on you, got pregnant, and is super excited about the baby. You called off the engagement and you're second guessing yourself? No, we don't do that. And his friend is just like, have you lost your mind? Are you insane, actually? The answer is yes. We're going out tonight. And he's like, no, I don't really want to go out tonight. We're going because you've lost it. And to be perfectly honest, these are the types of friends that you need. Because he even goes, I always thought she was a bitch. And then he explains that the ring came from his grandmother, but she didn't like it because it was old and she wanted something new. And he's just like, bitch status confirmed. Exactly. Because if I'm giving you something that means that much to me, how dare you fucking complain about it? See, this is what I be talking about. This is what I'll be talking about. And he starts talking about like how his mom thinks that he's overreacting. And his friend Levi is just like, no, your mom is like old school Hindi and like, or Hindu, and she's just, no. We're going out tonight, fuck all of that. Now, his friend is in a furry, a furry cosplay type thing, or he calls it a furry suit. And he's just like, I don't have one of those things. He's like, don't worry about it, I've got extra. And he gives him a buttery nipple shot before they go out. He's like, I just made it a little bit stronger than normal. I'm sure you did. Now, they go out and he's like, you're not going to leave me by myself, right? Because I've clearly never been around these people. And he's like, oh no, I'm totally gonna stay with you like the whole time. When they get there, he totally leaves him. And then on top of that, he's sick from the drink or from the shot that he had earlier. So he goes out to the back to throw up. And after he finishes throwing up, he just so happens to look, because there's like a jingling noise, like a bell. He looks and there are these 3 people who are in their furry suits and they are eating someone. Like intestines in hand, blood on mouth, eating somebody. And like the guy of them is just like, hey, how you doing? It's really not as bad as it looks. Kind of. Actually, it is as bad as it looks, because it looks like you're eating someone. How else do I interpret such things? You literally have their intestines in your hand and you have blood on your mouth from where you were chewing. What else do I do with that? So of course, as any rational person would do, he panics. He panics and he runs into a police officer, and he's very clearly still, he got roofied by his friend, probably into having a good time. And when he runs into the police officer, he calls him a ossifer, and he's just like, those people like in furry costumes, they were back there eating someone in the alley. And it turns out that the person who he's talking to is the deputy. And on top of that, he is the one that his fiance cheated on him with. So of course, I would be pissed. He got pissed and, tried to fight him, but obviously you don't want to swing on a police officer when he's on duty, right? So he ends up getting arrested, and he's like, by the way, your future father-in-law is looking for you, but so this is fucking amazing. I'm glad. So he goes and he is in interrogation, but he's not like in a regular interrogation room. So they have him just like amongst all of these files, and he's just like, the father-in-law who is the sheriff, he's just like, drugs? Really? First of all, I was drugged. Not I took them. Someone gave them to me. I did not volunteer my services to be drugged, right? Second of all, there were people eating people in the alley. Y'all gonna do something about that? So of course he doesn't care about any of that. He doesn't care about what he's talking about. He cares about the fact that he broke off the engagement with his daughter Whitney. And he's like, to be perfectly honest, did she even tell you that she was pregnant with his baby? And he's like, what? She hates condoms. Bitch, I'll kill you right here. So then, of course, he's just like, listen, I actually really don't give a fuck. The only thing I care about is the fact that your parents have money. And I am an elected official. I need backing. So whatever she wants, she gets. And I would just be like, fuck no, basically is what he said. And so they put him in a jail cell, and he's basically like threatening him with life in prison and all this other nonsense, by basically trying to like up charges. If you're going to do that and you want my parents' money, do you think that that's smart? Probably not. So they decide that he's going to spend the night in prison. All right, cool. Maybe it'll change his mind for him to keep to just be in the jail. So there's a cop there, and when the sheriff is getting ready to leave, he's like, all right, cool. So that prisoner that's back there, that guy that we have been holding, nobody talks to him except for this police officer right here. Leave him alone. As soon as the sheriff leaves, they tie that specific police officer up to bully him. And they come up with this plan to where he gets like beaten up, and they're going to blame it on David and all kinds of just other just fucking dumb nonsense. And while he's in the prison or the jail cell, and he's literally kind of just like talking to himself about the situation that happened, the kissy face one who had the most blood on her appears behind him outside, and he's just like, no, he was like, I was roofied, so I'm clearly hallucinating, like this isn't real, right? Unfortunately for you, it is. Unfortunately for you, it's definitely real. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed this first issue. I thought this was very interesting start for this to be cannibals. Now, with all of the other things that happen, they're mostly just plain serial killers. You know what I'm saying? So we had fashion school serial killer. She's just a serial killer. We had plastic death and dolls, where Edward is just plain fucking serial killer. But all of them being serial killers have some kind of quirk about them. So these people are obviously serial killers, but they are serial killer cannibals. My girl Rennie from fashion school, I was a fashion school serial killer. She is a serial killer who loves fashion and turns the people that she kills into fucking fashion pieces, period. And then Edward, of course, chopped off people's heads and named them things. And he usually killed people with a spork too, if he had one. So they all have like this quirk about them that makes them unique as a serial killer. So I am very interested to show you guys how this develops over the 6 issues, because they are really fucking good. If you want to hear the interview with the creator of all of these, go to Captain Diesel's dojo, because he did interview him and it was a really great interview. So but that is it for this episode of The Doctor's Office. If you haven't gotten I was about to say Witchblade, some Midnight Whispers or Salt Blood, please do. And also check out Ghastly Gospels for spooky season. And I will see you guys at your next checkup.